So my name is Henrik Malmström. The name of this exhibition is Welcome to Nomore, and that's a title I actually got. Somebody had sprayed on a wall. Welcome to Nomore, which was spelled wrongly. So Nomore was not. It was written together. So. And from that I started building an idea about maybe a place that doesn't exist anymore, or maybe will not exist anymore. And that's like the basis for this series, which is shown here in this room. It's a work in progress, so I have to admit that it's not completely... It can be adapted, I think, in many ways, but it's a kind of a investigation of Western society. The kind of symbols I feel are important. I mean, the pictures are not exaggerated, and of course it's only a very subjective view of maybe what is going on. Of course, I think it's a general opinion that the world is not going in a very good way, and we in the West should have the knowledge to know that we have to slow down and I don't know. We live so comfortably, we have to think about if we really need it all. As I say, I've been working only 1 year on it, and now I selected a very few images that somehow, for me, connect to this kind of feeling of closeness, or then it's like something left over, or it's somebody looking at you, or it's always kind of the detail of a curtain which is not really released. Something that can symbolize anything. You have someone covering their face. We're like closing, building everything, but still there's something trying to get out. Kind of the stones and holes which are quite a man who's maybe seen life, I don't know, but still has some kind of proudness. Of course, the prints are a little bit dark. A newspaper. Leftover kind of news from yesterday. Satellite images of what can seem as destruction, or I don't know, dirt flowing, or industrial plants. Actually, I went to the library and copied just parts I found interesting from maps, books. I've always been a little bit interested in maps, and then I re-photographed them. I think this kind of installation maybe has more a feel of a short dream, very short. I mean, dreams are maybe always short, but more of a kind of a future. But again, it's photographed now, so it's kind of present anyway. I don't know, you have here a little bit something surveilling, faces not seen, and this pulled down, what they are called. But it's some kind of paranoia always, maybe paranoia present, but it's about, yeah, maybe it's the way we live. I mean, we're also getting more and more divided, very divided in Europe, for example. I mean, people are so angry at each other, and it's all this kind of stupid discussions, and we're supposed to be some kind of progressed countries. I mean, it's kind of strange. And in Germany, it's quite well. You always get people who are radical in any direction. There, it's working nicely, but of course, there's always this kind of there's a separation. I mean, it's okay. It's always going to be a separation, maybe, anyway. But, and maybe it's always been like this with people. But we need to maybe somehow progress beyond this. So yeah, I don't know. I guess in these pictures, it's a little bit about this kind of both things, maybe. How we behave, where we're going, what it maybe leads to. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't lead to anything. Maybe we're going in a good direction. But I think we need to think further than only some years forward. I think the society is too fast. The society is too fast. These people want to get richer and richer and richer and richer. They don't need to. You don't need to. You don't need to be richer than you are right now. In the end, I'm so. I have such a good life, you know. I'm healthy. I'm able to fund an exhibition. Of course, I'm printing on paper and. Using, well, yes, of course, I have had such a nice life, so I'm positive about this, and I'm trying to keep, but still I'm not working hard enough, I think, for some kind of sustainable living. So I think it's good to be kind of negative against yourself to keep somehow going through. You see a lot of documentaries about scientists doing research and saying everything is really bad situations, and somehow we seem we're not doing anything. I mean, first of all, I like the kind of color combination. It's like a strange orange and a strange blue, but of course this is a cloud, which can be an explosion or anything, and then you have kind of I find these very strange. People close their windows like this in very many places. I guess it keeps the heat out, but it's a very. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Warmer countries that have these, but this is actually in Germany. And of course, people want to sleep longer. I don't know what it is, but they are very. I find them very violent. And of course, maybe there is a reason to be afraid. I mean, in the video which I made, that's actually more maybe where the question is like why we are surveilling so much. And actually, I think what we have to ask is why do we have so? Why is there such a lot of problems right now going on? People are afraid of this, but actually nothing is happening here in Finland, for example, or in Germany. Everything is happening somewhere else. So we're trying really to close ourselves in, keep the borders shut, and don't let anyone in, because they will, I don't know, make it worse. But these are shots of prostitutes on the street below our living room window, and it's a street where it's illegal. Prostitution is illegal there. I think it became in the 80s illegal, but it's always been kind of a grey zone. The police have not interfered so much, but now the area where we're living is going through a kind of a gentrification, and they're trying to clean up the streets. So the prostitutes are they're kind of hiding and have to deal when no one is seeing. Of course, I watch them, so they can't escape.
Yeah.
And that's a kind of a comment against. I don't know. I've talked to some of the prostitutes. Of course, nobody is doing prostitution. What's it called? On their own, not on their own, but that they want to do it. I can imagine. I mean, some prostitutes, I talk to them and they get fined 1,000 euros for selling sex, and I mean that's their job there. The one I talked to, she's been working there for 20 years in this area, and now she's getting shoved away. And I'm not saying prostitution should not be forbidden, but it's maybe we have to find some kind of other solution than just by forbidding. You're just going to move the problem somewhere else. It's not gonna take away the. I don't know. In societies, every society ever, I think, lived on Earth have always had some kind of use of some kind of drug that affects the brain, from coffee to tea to everything else. So by forbidding also drugs and putting it there, you don't solve the problem, I think, by forbidding only. That's the problem, I think. I don't know what the solution is, but yeah, and they're being victimized either if they work for themselves or by the pimps. I mean, they're being victimized by this, that they have to sell themselves, and then they're getting victimized by the police or society saying that it's illegal. And these are strong women. I see that they're standing out in the rain 16 hours and I'm inside comfortably photographing them. It's like I see pregnant prostitutes standing in the rain, in the cold for hours. It's like, how do you stand with this? And then you have to sell yourself to some guys. These are strong people, and I mean it's interesting how they've ended up there. It seems, and I don't know, there's from Eastern Europe there are prostitutes, and then you have these prostitutes coming with a car, parking outside on the street and starting the workday, like a totally normal workday. It's good. I mean, even quite. Some take it very lightly. The one I got, which I was able to lend the document of fine. She said I said goodbye, and she said, "Yeah, have a nice day." For working there, and she was like, "Yes, I have to continue here working. We'll see you later." And this is kind of. They're very human, these women, of course. But as I said, it's difficult to forbid it or legalize it. I mean, by forbidding it, you would give an example of that it is forbidden and we should not do it. But as you say, the demand is always there. We're animals, still animals. So. I don't know what the definition for a code is. It has to be written, but it's kind of a praise for surveillance that actually people are surveilling and nothing is. It's like a quasi surveillance cameras and nothing is happening. So it's like, why the hell are we? What's the point? Well, of course, surveillance sometimes it helps. People get beaten up in a train station and you can get out who the people were and get them into justice because it's not right to beat someone up. But again, I mean, in a kind of I guess surveillance, we are not living in any very corrupt states, but I mean, there's a lot of power when you have all this public surveillance material. Somebody has it all, and there's a lot of possibilities you could do with it. I mean, for example, the most people coming with cars, men, it's like quite expensive city jeeps, Porsches and things. I photographed some of the number plates of the cars, so using my power, so I could start basically, if I get to know who it is, I can start extortion. And I don't know what people, I mean, that's if kind of surveillance material comes in the wrong hands, stuff can happen. But that's of course maybe in a more conspiracy theoretic world, I don't know. So that's maybe a little bit what it's about. Actually, I don't know what is wrong and right. No, yes, I've filmed them all, but I've tried to make them look like surveillance shots.
Right.
So, and there's kind of a small, I think, narrative in it, but not very clear. It's like public spaces and private spaces. And actually, if I go back in my own history, I've always been quite interested in photography and video also, and I think it's somehow good to learn photography and incorporate that in video. So at the moment I'm working actually on 3 different video projects. I'm trying more maybe like classical documentary, and one more maybe not so classical documentary, and then one in this kind of style of this. I think video can have I mean, it works in a different way. Of course, this is more photography, photographs, but they are actually running. It's not a living image. I think photography is very interesting. There's so many different ways people can use it, and nowadays, of course, maybe there lacks a little bit of criticism, but anyway, it's a very free art form. I haven't been in art school. I have a background in engineering, so I've never been aware of art history until I got interested in reading a little bit. So actually, yeah, of course, some people have fought, I think, maybe for photography to be received as an art form, but actually, in the end, I don't so much care, and I think people don't care anymore so much either. So that's why it's kind of nice that it's. I made a 1-year course in a school in Denmark to get fill some gaps in my engineering degree, because it's all kind of media, computers and things like this. So there I learned more. And after that, I just tried to suck in so much information from as many I don't know, art forms or places. At the moment, I'm up in Hyrynsalmi in central Finland, starting on a bigger project about Finland, which is totally opening, very open and very still under work, but it's about Finland and I think the Finns' relationship to nature. And of course, this is still going on. As much as you can know is when I'm home, photograph from the window, and the other work is developing also. And then I have some other projects which are kind of ongoing archives of images. And then these kind of video projects. So there's a lot of different, and it's pulling in all different directions. So there's But it's nice that way, I think, keep himself active.